So, do we have any developers in the house? Got a few. John, Colin, raise your hand. I need some audience participation. Thank you. So, thank you, because if not for you, I wouldn't have things like Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and who the fuck knows how productive I could be every day if not for those things. So, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for helping me waste my time. I might have even gotten this presentation done a little quicker if not for those things. How about aspiring developers? Anyone that want to learn how to code? Any people out there? Got some hands? Cool. Well, good luck. Because it's going to be a pretty hard journey. A year ago, I was in your shoes. I was inspired to learn how to code. I was inspired to make the next Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And I was inspired to have a career where I could work anywhere I had a laptop and an internet connection. And I was inspired to learn this cool new thing. So that's what I want to share with you today. My name is Calvin Fung, and I'm going to tell you what I learned from my year of coding. You can find me online at The Calvin Effect, where I pretend to be a writer, photographer, and podcaster. Find all my online shenanigans there. So the first thing I learned was that it's pretty hard. I had my good days and my bad days, but on my bad days, I was pretty much like this guy. I was drowning, but I was trying to be optimistic. But it's also really rewarding. I would flip-flop between these two things pretty often. But once I wrote a function from scratch without using the internet, and it ran without crashing, and it did what it was supposed to do. Ask any programmer. That's pretty damn awesome. That's pretty awesome. The third thing I learned was that there's always more than one solution to a problem. On the left is my solution to a popular coding interview question called FizzBuzz. And on the right is something I can't even comprehend because it looks overly complicated. But it supposedly solves FizzBuzz too. Which is a good segue into lesson 4, which is find a good mentor. Because when you run into something that you don't understand, it's great to have someone to explain it to you. Shout out to Colin Loretz, who is laughing maniacally at me as I struggle through coding right now. The fifth thing I learned was that after about 10 months of doing this every night, it wasn't all that fun anymore. But because I didn't want to give up, I just kept going. I convinced myself that I was just at the dip. And once I passed the dip, I'd be happy. So short interlude, the whole reason I was doing all this was because I wanted to apply to a programming boot camp, which is a 12-week intensive course where you're eating, sleeping, and breathing code every day. The best part was that the tuition was free because they're so confident in their curriculum that they don't get any money from you until you get hired as an engineer. And then they take a cut of out of your first year's salary, which I thought was fair. The application process consisted of three interview tests where you had to solve logic problems. And there was no internet involved. You couldn't use the internet, which is kind of crazy if you ask any professional developer, because you need to use the internet to Google your way to success. Ask a developer, they'll tell you that. The sixth thing I learned was that I wasn't going to this boot camp because I aced the first one. I did well on the second, but then I didn't do too good on the third, where people were actually watching you code and listening to how you're thinking through the problems. The final thing I learned was that, after a few months after I got the rejection letter, maybe I didn't really want to be a software developer at all. And maybe that was okay, because even though I enjoyed aspects about it, I didn't want to do it every day. And the whole reason I'm sharing this story with you today is because whatever that thing is for you, whether it's writing, painting, photography, or maybe even coding, I just want you, as in Shia's words, just do it. Just do it. Because maybe you learn that you don't want to do that thing, and you learn a little bit about yourself, and along the way, you find out that you don't want to be a photographer, you don't want to be a writer, or in my case, you don't want to be a software developer, at least not as a career, because I still like it as a hobby. I like the problem-solving aspects, and it was really rewarding when I did figure something out. Look out for my next killer app idea, guys. It's coming. So those are some of the things I learned through my journey in coding, and I don't really remember what I was going to say next. But even if I don't end up making the next YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, that's okay, because there's a few aspiring developers out there who might do it for me, And let me say thank you for ruining my day already and taking away my productivity. Appreciate that. And again, my name is Calvin Fung. This is what I learned in my year of coding. I encourage you all to go do that thing yourself so you can figure out what you'll learn about yourself. Thank you.